Hello, my name is Jed Schwartz, and I'm welcoming you here from the faculty of Jin Shin Jyutsu, Spirit, Mind, Body. I want to thank you for tuning in with us today live. And for those of you who are watching on the recording, I welcome you. And I appreciate all of the people who have placed where they're watching from in the chat. It's extraordinary how far YouTube is allowing us to share this great art of Jin Shin Jyutsu. And if you're here for the first time, our focus is on simple things that we can do to help ourselves. And in that way, we go deeper into self-care and a perception of when we're in harmony and when we're not. Now, today's subject, healing wounds and stopping bleeding, it's pretty obvious. You know when you have a wound, and you know when you're bleeding. It could be from any reason. And often, if it's not a big deal, we don't pay attention to it until it becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'd like to tell you that before we start, this simple two-handed application has been remarkable in my life, clients, students, from deep, deep wounds, bed sores that were very, very deep that wouldn't heal, to bleeding profusely. And the testimonies, we could go on forever. But as Mary Burmeister, who brought Jin Shin Jyutsu from Japan, says, you have to be the testimony. When you experience something for yourself, it goes so deep inside that it's a profound power. So when you tell people about it, it comes out through them. If you're just reading it from a book, if you just hear somebody, you go to a class, but you don't use it yourself, it's very different. And so we make it simple in these YouTubes so that everybody can do it. Now, the key, as I explain every week, that it's not like drugs. It's not like you take it and you don't have to do anything else. You have no more responsibility. When you're putting your hands on your body, you need to leave them there for a while. And sometimes until you see some resolution, especially when you're bleeding. Now, it's a simple application. You're simply following this little diagram. You put your right hand over whatever area is a wound. It can be over a cast. It could be over a bandage. It's not a problem. If you have a wound that isn't covered, you may not want to touch it directly. So you could go off the body. You don't have to be on top of it. Okay? Just covering it, even a few millimeters above it, so that you don't infect the area if your hands are not clean. You could be wearing gloves and do this. There's nothing that limits its potential. And as Mary says, the only mistake you could make is not to use it. So let's say you had a wound or you're bleeding. Let's say it's on your shoulder. You put your right hand there and your left over it. If that's not comfortable, for the sake of what we're doing today, let's make it really comfortable. So put it over some area that's easy to hold. And we're going to then close our eyes if you want and meditate with it. Now, when you do this, it's actually, you could feel it in your hands. The energy is going inward. It's spiraling into the body and it's helping to regenerate and heal each layer of tissue from the very center of the wound, as deep as it is, outward. So many times when wounds heal, they get covered over, and then the healing creates scarring and all kinds of difficulties. So when we're putting our hands over something, it's healing from the center outward, which makes it more complete. So here you are. You put your right hand over the wound, over the bleeding. You put your left hand over that, and then you relax. You keep it simple. To share one testimony to inspire you, I cut my finger very deeply with a knife, almost down to the bone. And so I put it was this finger, I put my right hand over, and I put my left thumb over that because it was a little awkward to do it. And I held it. I held it all night. over 12 hours. The bleeding stopped within a few moments, a few minutes, and I just stayed there. And in the morning, when I took my hands away, I could barely see where the cut was. And I proceeded to go about my life. I didn't bend it for a while. And it took a couple months for the nerve to grow back because I actually sliced through my nerve. But that's all I did. But I held it for a very long time and it was profound. No infection, no sewing of the skin. It's very easy. So here we are. Let's do this. And if you have a wound, certainly you could put your hands on that. But if it's in areas that you can't reach, you could put it in the front of the body to go to the back. You have to be inventive, okay? And you can always write us if you have a question. So here's your right hand over the skin, over the area, left hand over that. And then you just relax, close your eyes, feel the energy moving, or if you don't feel anything, that's okay too. You just spend time being with yourself and allowing the divine intelligence within us that knows what we need to take care of ourselves. And for many people, they do this unconsciously if they have a wound. They have a cut, they're bleeding. They put their right hand left over right. Now, if you were to reverse this, it would be a little less effective, but it would never cause harm. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we're simply harmonizing. We're just balancing the body's energy. We're not pushing, we're not pulling. There's this divine intelligence that knows what to do. But you maximize it with the right hand over, left over right. For some people, they remember right for red, for blood, so they put the right hand and then the left over that. But you figure out how you're going to remember that. And just relax with that. This is also good for getting rid of scars, old adhesions in the body can also be dissolved through this application. You can spend an hour a day if you have the time to do that. And if you will, just start to feel your breath. Feel the inhale, feel the exhale. Notice when you're inhaling the effortlessness of the belly expanding, and then as you exhale, releasing and letting go. The breath brings vitality, prana, into our system, allowing us to regenerate from the very deepest places, connecting with the breath of the universe that breathes us every moment of our physical existence. Inhaling, receiving, exhaling, letting go. And as you're sitting here, or if you're not sitting, you're lying here, allow yourself to let go of your day, of your responsibilities, of the things that you're dealing with, family, friends, work. And let go. Be as present as you possibly can. And as the mind starts to creep in with these thoughts, simply watch them float by as best you can. The more you practice this emptiness of the mind, the more adept you will be at doing it, until the day comes when you're always living in a state of presence, of awareness, of awakening. Constantly letting go of the past, letting go of the future, and breathing in this moment as fully as we can, without judgment of ourselves, without criticism of ourselves. And be here this moment, watching yourself going deeper and deeper inside, and pulling away from all the distractions, the sounds, the things on your desk, the calls you have to make, the emails, the texts, giving yourself an opportunity to be as present in the moment and keep practicing this letting go, this receiving. And in the moments of stress in our life, we forget to breathe. We often hold our breath or we don't breathe. And so by bringing in this awareness of exhaling, inhaling, you change everything in your field. The energy moves. And when movement comes, we start to let go of the stagnation, the tension, the congestion that we're holding on to. Dropping your shoulders, letting them relax even more. Relaxing your fingers, your palms, your wrist. You don't want to hold any tension in your hands when you're applying this position. We're not using pressure. It's the energy that is doing all of the transformation, not our physical energy, not my personal energy. And if this seems very difficult to believe or comprehend, then you be the experience of it. Apply it in a situation and see the results, and then you'll know for yourself that everything is possible. You could even do this if you have a deeper wound that you can't see, a break in the bone, a rip in the muscle, the ligament. Whatever it is, applying your hands this way helps the body to begin to regenerate, to heal, to be made new again. And start to feel the peace from the tips of your toes. Feel everything relaxed through your ankles, the muscles in your calves. Feeling this movement, releasing any tension in your knees, any pain, any swelling through your thighs and your hips. Breathing into your hips and releasing any tension. Feeling the opening between your femur bone and your pelvis. Bringing in the breath. Feeling the equality, the balance between your left side and your right side. The breathing in, the breathing out. Noticing this energy rising through your reproductive organs, your sacrum, and slowly up through the hips into your abdomen and all of the vital organs, your intestines, your kidneys and bladder, your liver, your gallbladder, and your spleen and your pancreas, your kidneys, everything working perfectly. Letting go of stress, letting go of the attitudes that hold us bound to disharmony. Feeling the energy rising through your spine, through each vertebrae one by one, through your discs, through the spinal cord and the spinal nerves, all the way up through your thoracic, your lumbar and thoracic and cervical, up into your skull. Bathing your brain, your face, your eyes, your ears, your nose, and mouth in this breath of life. Feeling it releasing the tension in your shoulders and your neck, and your elbow and your wrist and hand and fingers. Imagining a flow, a river of healing energy that flows as the breath moves through your body. Constantly letting go, paying close attention to this moment, not falling asleep, not wandering away with your mind. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing into your heart, this healing light to be distributed through all of your arteries and all of your veins. From the center outward, everything coming back to the heart, to the center. Now notice if there's any tension still in your body. And as you focus there, allow it to unwind. Letting go. And if you become impatient or bored, that's okay. Just stay with it. Become the master of yourself, the master of your thoughts, the master of your emotions, and the master of your body. If you start to feel pain anywhere, that's the opening of the energy, the awakening of something that is asleep, that may be deficient of the vitality that is meant to be with you. So be aware of that, but don't be stuck. Breathe into it, breathe out of it, and watch it dissolve. You may begin to feel some tingling, some movement of the area you're holding. You may feel nothing, or you may feel a lot. You are the observer, not the doer. I'm breathing in this peace and breathing it out. Now, as you're breathing, begin to look inside yourself and see if there's any area where you feel a dark color, tension, something that is not as harmonious as the rest of your body. And simply breathe this light, this breath into those areas, filling it with light, dissolving. Relaxing any muscles that you feel tight in your toes, in your hands, in your face, internally, relaxing everything. You may begin to feel heat building up in your hands. The energy becomes very powerful and can be experienced as heat. Every time you notice anything, just breathe into it without concern, but with awareness. Notice the change that's happening with you now, the lightness. Now, if you're feeling this peace, as I hope you are inside you, take a moment and as you exhale, imagine sending it to those you love, those in need, sending this light to them as a blessing and a prayer for their wellness, their healing. And you don't have to limit it to those you know. You could send it out just out to the world, to anybody calling for help, that this may go to them and ease their pain, ease their suffering. To all sentient beings, to all of life, that the peace that you feel inside may go and lift this entire world up to a higher vibration, to what we are meant to be. A world of peace and of love and compassion. A world without boundaries that separate us from one another. releasing the boundaries in our heart to embrace all. Breathing in more deeply. Certainly, you can keep your hands here longer. But notice how you feel now. Notice if you feel a little bit more centered, more calm, more peaceful. A simple daily practice of this position or anything that we've talked about can be very transformative for you and everyone that you know. And remember, sometimes a very old project that someone's had can take a while to clear. Not everybody is going to take the time or have the patience to do this, but there will be people who do, and it could change their lives. A very simple thing that we can share with others that requires no money, no real effort, and can help those who are without care. When I go to the hospital, I give people self-help so that they can work on themselves while they're waiting. There's no time to wait when we need to get well. We need to start exactly where we are until we get back to our health. And the one thing that I know is that everything within us can regenerate. Everything. But not everybody is going to believe that, accept it, and utilize this profound power that lives within us all. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. I hope that you'll share this simple thing with other people, and you'll be able to see the miracles and hear the results. If you have any questions or any great miracles, please share them with us at Jin Shin Jyutsu Spirit, Mind, Body. You see our website. We love to hear these things, and I can tell you that I've received so many stories. It's wonderful. And maybe one day we'll be able to publish them for others to see. We all need to be inspired. We all do. And may you be the inspiration that touches the people in your life. I thank you. I wish you a beautiful day and hope to see you next week.